What's up, guys? Cobra here, and I know I don't usually do commentaries, but I figured that since it's a new year, I might as well try to. I think I'm gonna try 2012 as being. I think I'm actually gonna put in a bit of effort. Not really into YouTube, but just because I know I've kind of accepted the fact that I'm never really gonna get big on YouTube, but I just kind of want to try and see if I can just produce more content. Just because I've always really had a channel where I just upload like stupid 30-second like bullshit clips, and I kind of want to try to start actually uploading some real stuff. And I'll explain more of that in the future, but that's basically why I'm doing this video. Just to be more active and just to do more stuff, I guess involving YouTube. But this video is gonna be about my my vacation that I had over New Year's, Christmas break. But not necessarily the good part of the vacation. This was on the returning part of my vacation. I stayed in Hawaii for Christmas and New Year's. My family has a condo on the Big Island, so usually my family takes all of us to Hawaii at least once a year, so that's pretty fun. But the way back was just not fun at all. So me and my brother had a separate flight because my parents were staying for an extra week, and I had to go back to work. My brother had to go back to work, but we left from Kona, which is on the Big Island where we stay. We left from Kona to Maui. We had a flight from Kona to Maui, and then from Maui to San Diego. And then because I used to live in San Diego for 6 months, and that was when my parents bought the tickets. And I was going to take a train from San Diego to Santa Barbara, which is where I live in California. So it seems simple enough. So our first flight is from Kona to Maui. That literally takes about 10 minutes because takes 10 minutes because I mean, from Kona you can look out on the beach and see Maui. So it's really not that far away. So that flight was fine. It took 10 minutes, and then me and my brother finally get to the Maui airport. We wait around for like a half hour for our next flight, and our flight boards at 2:10 p.m. And we're flying Alaskan Airlines. This is the first time I've ever flown Alaskan Airlines, and I usually fly like United or something, even though I hate United. But it's the first time ever flying Alaskan Airlines. As we walk onto the plane, I see that on the side of the plane it says Wi-Fi enabled. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'll be able to get some internet access on my phone. This will be a quick flight, because the flight from California to Hawaii is about 5 hours. On the way there, it's 5.5 because you always have a headwind. But on the way back, it's like a good 5 hours, and it's a long 5 hours sitting down on a plane is just not fun. I hate flying. I mean, I'm not the tallest person in the world. I'm like 6'1", but for some reason, I can never fit into like a bus seat or an airplane seat. Like, my knees are always like up by my ears. I'm just cramped up in airplane seats and bus seats always. I hate flying. Humans were not meant to fly. If we were, we would have wings. It's not that I used to have a fear of flying. I've kind of gotten over that, but I don't put 100% trust into something that is a hunk of metal just flying through the air. That's not, I just can't trust that very much. So flying kind of makes me uneasy, I guess, because I'm not terrified of it, but I don't enjoy it. So we sit down on the plane at like we left at 2:10. So we're flying. We're in like the middle of the plane, right next to the engine actually, so it's pretty loud. And on this flight, believe it or not, there are about 20 babies. Like, it seems like every other person on the plane was a parent with a baby. And my brother has the window, I have the middle, and then some lady That was actually pretty nice. Had the seat to the right of me, and there's babies in the row in front of us. There's babies in the row to the right of us, and then there's babies like a row behind and to the right, so like diagonally, like right to me. And they were the babies were expressing their feelings quite a bit. Crying, yeah, they were they were crying quite a bit. And not to mention, I don't know if because it was an Alaskan Airlines or not, but the plane was fucking freezing. They were pumping, like, I had, like, I'm so glad I wore pants because, and even I wore pants and my legs were still, like, my feet were frozen. I don't know, the temperature of that plane had to be, like, 50 degrees because everyone that I was looking at was just, like, shivering and, like, huddled up. So we're flying, there's turbulence, and we're flying from Maui to San Diego, and as we're getting in, we have, like, an hour left, and the pilot comes on and says, there's quite a bit of fog in San Diego. We can't land the plane unless we get a mile of visibility on the runway. Right now it's at a half mile. So so we're gonna hold this we're gonna be in a holding pattern in between LA and San Diego until the weather clears up. So I'm like, okay, fuck, like I really don't want to like be just flying around. Look at these retards. Hold on. These kids are about to get outplayed. I really don't want to be in a holding pattern for this long, just flying around. I'd rather just land somewhere and just get off this plane because I don't want to be sitting around anymore. So, so we're in a holding pattern, just flying around, and we're doing that for a good hour and a half, just circling. Finally, the pilot comes back on and says the visibility in San Diego hasn't improved. We're gonna have to land in LA, and a bus will take you guys from LA to San Diego. We're like, fuck, you know, like no one wanted to do this. So we weren't scheduled to land in LA. So when we land in LA, we land in like a ghetto ass part of the airport. It's just like a runway, like an abandoned runway. There's like there's no terminal. There's like a loading dock terminal thing, but it's not like an official terminal. It's just like a building. So we pull up to that. Everybody's sitting on the plane, and the pilot comes on and says, "You're welcome to get off the plane, and you'll be on your own in LA to figure out how to get to San Diego, or you can stay on the plane, and all your luggage will stay on the plane, and we'll try to refuel." Actually, no, he didn't say that yet. He said, you're welcome to get off the plane and do your own thing in LA, or you can wait for the bus. Your luggage will stay on the plane. So we're like, okay. Well, because me and my brother, we didn't have any checked bags. We just had our one bag. So we're like, well, fuck. Let's just rent a car and just fucking drive as fast as we can to San Diego. And so as we were getting off the plane, the pilot comes back on and says, "You're welcome to go out into Los Angeles and figure out how to get back on your own terms, or you can stay on the plane. We'll try to refuel and try to get back to San Diego because he said that 2 other planes had landed in San Diego because the visibility had cleared up a bit. So we're like, well, fuck, that's just our luck. Like, you know, as we were in LA bullshitting around, 2 other planes landed. Like, you know, come on. So me and my brother were like, well, even if we have to wait a little bit, waiting for this plane to fuel up and go, it's still going to be faster than driving to San Diego. So we're like, well, let's just get back on and wait and see what happens. So we get back on and wait. At this point, the plane's hot now because the engines are turned off and there's no air flowing. So everybody's fucking farting and breathing and all that shit. So the plane's now like a good 85 degrees. Everybody's sweating. And we're waiting for like a half hour. And I'm like, well, fuck, I have to go to the bathroom. So we're at this point, a lot of people had gotten off, so my brother and I had moved to, damn, the game's already over? To the front of the seat. To the front of the plane. I'm gonna have to put another gameplay in, so I'm gonna have to pause this, but we had already moved to the front of the plane, and the bathroom's in the very back of the plane. So I went to the bathroom. So I'm in the bathroom, and the pilot makes an announcement saying, this is the last decision that we're making. San Diego is no longer, the weather's not good enough to land, and the airport has stopped receiving incoming flights. Because at this point, my flight was supposed to be from 2:10 leaving Maui to getting into San Diego at 9. At this point, it's already like 12:30 in Los Angeles. And he says, the San Diego's not taking any more flights. So a bus is going to now take you guys from San Diego or from LA to San Diego. So I'm like, oh, and we're just like, fuck, we should have just rented a car, and we could have already been halfway there by now. Like, so we're like, all right, god damn it. So at this point, we're pissed. We're walking around. We're going from a commuter bus from the ghetto terminal to the real terminal. We have to wait for all these people who actually have checked luggage to get their luggage, because they wouldn't call the buses to pick us up until the first luggage things had started coming down the little luggage like claim area. So we have to wait like an hour for that. Finally, the buses get here. Me and my brother are like, dude, let's just get on the first fucking bus. We'll get the fastest to San Diego. Let's just get this shit done with. We get on the first bus. The driver is an Asian dude. I mean, no offense, but the driver's an Asian dude. We're like, okay, well, whatever. We'll be the first one there, and that'll be good. We're the first bus to leave and the last bus to get into San Diego. This guy it's 1:30 in the morning. This guy's there's no traffic. He's braking on the freeway and like swerving in between lanes, like those little bumps that are on the lanes to like let you know that you're drifting into another lane. He was riding those the entire time. We're the first bus to leave LA and the last bus to get into San Diego. We finally get in to San Diego at like 3:15 in the morning. My brother's girlfriend comes and picks us up. We finally get home at like 3:30. I go to bed at like 4 in the morning. I wake up at 11 because I have a train the next day at 12. So on the next day at like 11:57, I'm like trying to get on my train, and I see my train at the station, and I'm like, that's my train. Tell the guy that's like standing outside the train, I'm like, that's my train. He's like, okay, you gotta hurry. You have to go all the way down to the other end to get on. I'm like, what the fuck? So I have to like run down to the other end of the train. I get on the train as like the doors are closing. I'm like, okay, fuck, thank God I made it. That's all that matters. And the train ride from San Diego to Santa Barbara is like a good like 5 hours. Because the train really doesn't go that fast. It only goes like 55 miles an hour. And you have to make a bunch of stops on the way. So I'm like, well, whatever. I can get on the train. I can just chill for 5 hours. I can listen to music. I could go on YouTube on my phone. I'm like just thinking, I'll just chill. So I'm on the train. I'm on my iPod on YouTube, or I'm on my iPhone on YouTube. I'm really killing my battery, but I figure, I don't really need my phone because once I'm off the train, I don't need it anymore. I don't know if anybody knows like the California layout, but we get from San Diego to around Fullerton. No problems with the train whatsoever. As we pull up to Fullerton, they say, if this is the stop for Fullerton, if it's your stop, get off, blah, blah, blah. Usually the stops for trains are only like 30 seconds. It's in and out. And for some reason we're staying for like 5 minutes. And the conductor comes on the intercom and says, we have unforeseen mechanical errors with the train. We're going to get a guy from Amtrak out here we're going to get a serviceman from Amtrak out here to take a look what's wrong, but we don't know how long that's going to take, so for the meantime, just stay seated, and we'll try to get the situation dealt with as soon as possible. So I'm like, motherfucker, like, this is just my luck. First we have to, where I was getting bullshitted on the airplane, now this train's fucking up. So he periodically comes on and says the same thing basically over and over for a good half hour. And then from the half hour point, he doesn't make another announcement for like another 45 minutes. So it's like been an hour and a half almost. We've just been sitting in Fullerton, just nothing. Not moving. He comes on after like an hour and a half and says, this train is no longer going to be able to be in service due to unforeseen mechanical errors. You will be getting off this train and will be connecting to another train that will take you from from Fullerton to Oxnard. Oxnard's like maybe, I don't know, like 45 miles from where I live. So it's really not that far, but my train had they'd been doing maintenance from Oxnard to where I live on the tracks. So I was going to take a bus anyway from Oxnard to where I live. So I'm like, all right, fuck, I just want to get going. So we wait another like half hour for a train to come. So at this point, we've been stuck in Fullerton for like 2 hours, just waiting. My train was supposed to get in at 5:45. It was supposed to be from like 12 to 5:45. That was when I was supposed to get there. That was supposed to be my train travel for the day. At this point, it's already like 4:45. And and so get on the train. It's going. It's moving. That's fine. We stop in LA. We stop and make all the stops. Get to Oxnard. I get on the bus. At this point, it's like almost 7. My phone, since I had been using my phone on the train like really heavily, at this point it's at like 7% battery. So I can't really. I have to make a few phone calls before it dies. I call my dad because he was supposed to pick me up at the train station. I call him. I'm like, you know, are you gonna be able to pick me up? I know we're running really late. And he's like, oh, he says, oh, I'm at your sister's basketball game, and you might have to walk home. I'm like, are you are you serious right now? Like, the train station from where I live isn't really like that far. It's only like 2 miles, but after the last 2 days, like the last thing I want to do is walk home. So I'm like, he's like, well, call me when you get there. I'll see if there's anything I can do. I'm like, all right, well, you know, I understand. Like, you're at the basketball game. It's not that far of a walk. I can do it, but I don't really want to. So I'm like, all right. We get on the bus to take me from Oxnard to Santa Barbara, and some of the people are talking about the Oregon Stanford college football game that had just happened. The bus driver gets on the intercom and was like, "Oh, I saw that game." I was like, "Okay, well, you know." He proceeds for the next 45 minutes on the bus ride to be on the intercom to talk to these people about the Oregon Stanford football game. It's not. He couldn't just turn around and talk to them about it. He couldn't just project his voice. He has to be on the intercom. So that's happening for the next 45 minutes. I can't listen to my iPod because I only have like 5% battery life left. So I have to hear this motherfucker talk to these people about this goddamn football. I mean, I like football, but the last thing I want to do is hear about this football game over the intercom. So this is happening for the whole bus. So finally, we get there. We get to my train station. By now it's like 7:30 at night. I have to pee really bad. Because the only thing I had to eat was like a bacon and egg sandwich like at like 11:30 in the morning when I left for the train station. So I'm starving, I'm thirsty, I have to pee. And finally I get off. And I can't call my dad because my phone's dead at this point. So I'm like, fuck, I have to walk. So I get off the train, I walk like maybe like 100 yards, I find like a bush to pee in, I pee, then I start walking home, and I finally make it home at like 8:30, I'd say. So what was supposed to be a 5-hour train ride turned into an 8.5-hour day, and I just don't want to travel for the next like year. I just don't want to move, really. For like a good like 2 days. I just don't even want to deal with any sort of traveling. I know this probably wasn't the worst travel experience you guys have ever heard, but it was pretty bad. This is my worst travel experience. I'm sure you guys have probably had worse. Feel free to leave a comment about your worst travel experience. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to try to be more active with uploads, so peace.